Do wait a few more minutes. Thank you for folks to log on. So we'll give it a couple more minutes. If you have any questions or thoughts or something that needs to be moved up in the timeline for you today, if you can't stay the entire time, that would be fine. We'd be more than happy to discuss things out of order and make sure that you have time to participate. So if you have anything like that, let me know. And if not, we'll give it a few more minutes before we get rolling to make sure everybody has time to log in on this Monday morning. So thanks. Introductions. All right, again, I am Micah Chappelle, the TAG chair. I represent code officials on the State Building Code Council, for those of you who have not met me. And is there anyone that'd like to introduce themselves that's new this week or that is not new this week and still want to introduce themselves? We have Stoyan on this week. Hopefully all of you know Stoyan. If not, maybe he'll come off and mute and introduce himself since he's the
okay. I'll be hiding myself. I'm dealing with some allergy issues, but my name is Stoyan Bumbulov and I'm the State Building Code Council Managing Director. I will try to stay on listening mode, but if you have questions, I'll be around.
Thanks, Stoyan. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves this morning? I won't put you on the spot this week. Not yet, at least. Okay. Then we will move on to item 2 on the agenda, which is review and approve the agenda. I looked at the agenda and I have no issues for change. Is there anyone else that would like to make some modifications to the agenda? And if not, I will entertain a motion.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we should probably take a roll to make sure we got the quorum before we move to number 2.
That would make sense. Are you going to do that for us?
Yeah, I will do that.
Sweet. Thanks.
Like a Chappelle.
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Jennifer?
I'm here. Sorry, I was just pumping up my heat here. I'm gonna get a little cold this morning.
Quinn? Ron?
Here.
Welcome. Todd?
Here.
Michelle?
Here.
I'm going to say Annie's name, but she's going to come in a little bit later. So Annie O'Rourke. Darren?
Here.
Diane Glenn. Okay. That is rolling. We have a quorum, Micah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. Since we have a quorum, we'll move to item 2, and then we can get a motion and go from there since we have a quorum. Don't be shy. I need a motion. If not, it'll just die.
A motion to approve.
Thanks, Darren.
Second.
Thanks, Jen. All right, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition to the agenda? Great. All right, moving on to the third item, which is review the minutes. Ray or whoever's controlling the screen is so kindly showing those to us. Are there any, actually, I'll entertain a motion on the minutes approval. Are you guys muted? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are those the minutes in whole? Oh.
Yes, they are. They're summary minutes.
Okay. I will move to approve the minutes.
Thank you,
Second.
Todd. And Darren, we have a second. Any additional discussion? Okay, I'll do it a little different so everybody doesn't have to unmute. Is there any opposition to the motion? Please say nay. Hearing none, motion is carried. All right. Back to the fun part of the meeting. I believe we left off under R507, if that's correct, Ray. And we were discussing some of the deck tables and things we needed to keep or modify. Ray, I don't know if you want to show that section of code that I had sent you to what that should look like. But if we want to go to that, or if we want to do something else, where do we want to start there?
Are you seeing the existing amendment report online now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if I can find your email, Micah. Is that the one you sent me after the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I see how important it was, Ray.
Let's see.
Totally
here.
kidding.
It was 507. Oops. Is it?
No, that's not.
This
the
is the one?
Nope.
Okay.
I actually sent you the section of codes since we were talking about things that were amiss on the WAC and what the table should look like. Yeah, I think that's it.
Where did you want me to start at the beginning?
You can go to the, let's start at table, oh goodness, 507, what?
Five oh seven.
507 4. Sorry, 507.3.1.
Okay.
First table.
Ah,
There you go. You're close. So I can kind of go through this. So we're striking this table, but we're actually replacing it on the next page with only the items that we need to maintain for the state. So if you'll scroll down one page and flip it, rotate it again. Okay, it does automatically. So this is what this table should look like. These were the changes that were made last cycle. And our recommendation is to keep it this way. We scroll down to the next table just below it. Same thing, instead of trying to modify this table, we're just striking that whole table, but of course we're adding a new table on the next page that uses what we would need for the state of Washington. Again, not recommending any modifications to this table. All right, we're gonna go down 2 pages, Ray. Table 507.6. Same thing, we're striking a lot of the language in there and replacing it. Oops, you're going too far. So far. And so we're replacing it with what is used through in the state. And those were the changes that I'm recommending keeping from the 2018. All right, 507.7. So next table. So no changes to that table for the deck joist spacing. And then the next table down. Again, it looks like we're getting rid of it, but we're not. We're replacing it on the next page with what is applicable to the state of Washington. And again, I'm not recommending any changes to that table. And I believe that is all the modifications in 507 for decks. So we can go back to your spreadsheet if you'd like, Ray, unless folks need to continue to look at these. Okay. And so Ray, I think we probably still need to address the item in yellow.
That is correct, yes. There are things that we wanted to come back to.
Right. So we need to go to that. Sorry, I'm looking at it right now. I think we wanted to change that to keep our amendment. Okay. To me, that would wrap up the changes in chapter 5. Does your group have any thoughts, questions, additional input? I'll take crickets. Crickets is fine. Silence. All right, with that.
Mike, I'm sorry, I was muted. I was trying to say something.
Oh, you almost missed it. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, if you can give me the chance to speak up.
I'd be happy to, Stoyan.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the tables that you went through, all tables were modified in 2021 International Residential Code. So I missed the last meeting, but if you folks are going to discuss the significant changes, so it will be a good time to evaluate the modified tables.
I thought for these two meetings, we needed to get through the Washington State amendments and then we're gonna come
Yes,
back
I
and look at
understand.
the ICC
Yes,
amendment.
I understand that. It's just a heads up. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we have a few other things, Stoyan. I think that came up in a couple other chapters where stuff in the 2021 had modified, but we thought we had to focus on getting the state amendments reviewed so we could get that report to the full council.
Okay, thank you.
Anytime. Okay. With that, we would need a motion on the items in chapter 5.
So moved.
All right. So that motion is as shown on the screen, I would assume. And can we get a second? Only got 5 staff members here. I got to get one of you.
Second.
There we go. Thanks, Jen. Sorry. I know some of you have to repeat your motions over and over. I appreciate the participation. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion to maintain this state amendments as shown on the spreadsheet? Hearing none. I'll make it easy. Is there any opposition to this motion? Please say nay. Hearing no opposition, motion carries. Yeehaw, on to chapter 6. We're gonna get done at some point. All right. Ray, did you need me to pull up a whack? Do folks need me to pull up a whack, or what would we like to see here? Looks like Ray's gonna pull up a whack.
See if I can do something here.
So I was a little confused on this one because I couldn't, to me, this didn't necessarily correlate. 602, well, actually, I think what I was going off of didn't have use on lumber, so I was trying to find it. So now I see that it's here. So the spreadsheet that I had didn't have it for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was the spreadsheet missing?
The spreadsheet that I had didn't have use on lumber. So I was getting a little confused as to where some of the stuff ended up being, but once I got past exterior concrete, then it started to flow. So
Okay.
so for the wood wall 602. I wasn't quite sure what this was referring to, because underneath it, then we start with the use on lumber.
It's a bit awkward. See, Jackie lives up in the papers, so.
Yeah.
The use on lumber, I just saw it as being the same. I didn't see any changes to it.
Exact, there you go. Yeah, I mean, what do we do? How do you, she's not gonna listen.
Yeah.
So I saw 602 just being the same, so keep.
Yeah. Maybe somebody needs to start some not so noticeable stuff.
Ron, is
Buzz
that you?
off.
I don't know if Ron's in 2 meetings for us here, but sorry, Michelle, where were we?
No, that's okay. So the first one, wood wall framing 602,
Okay. You're
I didn't-
indicating no change.
no change.
Okay.
Okay.
Use on lumber. I didn't see any change.
Okay.
So are you saying keep the amendment?
Keep, yes.
Okay.
Six oh two nine. So 6029 was in regards to cripple walls. So I just have to ask this question. So in the IRC, there's a lot more information than what we have in the state. That'd be a correct statement?
Yes.
Okay. The only thing that they changed there was the wording exterior to say exterior cripple wall.
Okay.
So 602. So I would keep, or just change the exterior. So it says foundation cripple walls were exceeding 4 feet. Instead of saying just cripple, it says exterior cripple. Cripple walls supporting, wait a minute. Cripple walls with stud height less than.
Our language seems, pretty different, but kind of gets to the same point. And we have exterior walls in that first part of that sentence.
Yeah, they just talked about exterior and interior, but they only just denoted the exterior, adding exterior to it, so.
Okay.
So I keep.
Excellent.
602.10.10 cripple wall. Bracing. I didn't see any changes there.
Okay.
602, 608. That one I didn't see any changes in.
Okay.
The next one is concrete materials. I didn't see any changes in that one.
Interesting.
.609 talked about,
Can we go back one real fast to 6085 before we move to the 609? Pretty please.
608.
Sorry, when I was reading it, I'm like, I thought we had gotten this code change in. So the 60851, I believe that the 2021 matches the state amendment now. Because it added, I want to say I think it did the 318 and the 332.
It did. It added the ACI 332. Sorry. Good
That's
catch.
okay. And so I think we can delete that amendment now. And we might have done this 6081. The only reason I say this because I think these were our changes at the national level.
Yeah, I think 6081 is the same.
It's same
Yeah.
as, yeah, AC. Sorry. I had that in a different note. ACI 332 was added.
Perfect. Sorry, that's the only reason that I thought, man, I was like, I swear we got these in. Okay. Sorry. All right, we move to the next one. Thank you.
So 609. 609 actually just added a couple of words to it, which was shall be installed in. And then that's 609.
Are we going to keep this amendment?
So if it's just changing, if it's just an editing, do we just keep it?
But isn't that in 609.1? And we're looking at 609.3.
So 609.1.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the title is on. Honestly, I don't know why 609 is on there. There's no amendment for the state in 609. There's an amendment for the state in 609.3. So on your spreadsheet, Ray,
right.
you've got 609. There's
I-
nothing there.
I should have put the title here. Usually I just put this and I usually bold it and make the title.
Okay.
609. Well,
Sorry.
it would have should it should have 609 exterior windows and doors.
Right. So I see what Michelle's saying. There's technically no Washington amendment. There are changes at the 2021 level in that section, but it has nothing to do with the state amendment. So our state amendment is under 609.3, right? So that's one we should be looking at.
So we're at 609-3.3.
Correct.
For 609.3, I didn't see anything either as a comparative analysis. So maybe it's testing and labeling, same thing. There's no changes that I saw.
Right. There was nothing in 2021. I think our amendment is the additional exception.
Oh, the exceptions, right? So keep that.
It should be it. I think the next one's just reserved. Yeah.
So we moving down?
Are we, so are we
No.
done with walls?
Yeah, I think if we're done with chapter 6, we can take a motion on what we're showing. And you can make that motion, Michelle.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I was saying we're going to take a motion on chapter 6 and maintaining or maintaining some of the amendments and deleting the 2 as shown on the screen. So if you want to make that motion, that'd be great.
What's the correct wording? I make a motion to accept
As shown on the screen.
as shown on the screen. Sorry.
That's okay. Put you on the
Second.
spot. All right, we have a motion and a second for maintaining or modifying as shown. Any additional discussion for chapter 6? All right, if there's any opposition to that motion, please say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. All right, on to chapter 7. Thank you, Michelle.
So chapter 7, let's see, 702. I did not, for these other interior finishes, I didn't see anything, no changes. 702.
Okay.
There were changes in the table. 70233. Let me see if that matters. So 7025 other finishes. There's no changes there.
Okay. So will we want to maintain our amendment?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. All right. 703 1.1, I believe, is the next amendment. Did we lose you, Michelle?
Sorry, I'm trying to. I couldn't
You're
explain
okay.
it to me. Okay, 7, this one here, water resistance. I didn't see any changes to that table, to that section, so I'd keep it.
Okay.
Same thing with 7032. Oops, hold on. 7032. That did have a change to it. That one was all reworded.
Okay.
Looks like this might be a candidate for deleting possibly. It looks like they've got largely our language and then a couple things added. I don't know if this is a change that the state submitted to them.
I believe it was something that we adopted early.
So I don't know if we like their additional language.
Say, I would agree with Jen.
Ray, are you able to show the 2021 language? Hard on
What section was that? Sorry.
703.2.
It's a big chapter.
Yes, it is.
Sorry about that. Looks like I might be on a split screen, so
Sorry.
when you need the other screen, let me know.
So it looks like what they've had added in theirs starts in the middle of the paragraph. The water resistant barrier material shall be continuous to the top of walls and terminate at penetrations and building appendages in a manner to meet the requirements of exterior wall envelope.
And then another statement after the list.
Yes. And then Ray, if you'll scroll the next page. And then the statement on the number 15 asphalt felt. So I think both of those are really just code fillers. The additional statement on the number 15 is actually covered under number 1 on the list, which is number 15 felt comply with the STMD 226. Same thing it says here. So I mean, this tells you how to apply it, but I think that's a manufacturer specification that's not necessary in the code.
So number 1 says ASTM D226, and this says E2556. So is that right? Or is there an error there?
That's a fabulous question. I don't know if it's an error on their part or our part. Because the material, I mean, even that's covered by number 2, the E2256.
I just Googled real quick. It looks like they're both standards, so I think it's right.
So it
Oh, wait,
says an
no.
alternative.
Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, no, that E2, is it E2256? Is that what it is? You scroll down to the
Yes, 2556,
oh,
E25.
255. Googled wrong. Yeah, that's standard specification for vapor permeable. Yeah. Intended for mechanical attachment. Yeah, so I think they're both right. They're different standards, but they both apply. So I would vote we just delete this amendment.
Okay. There's a recommendation. Anybody opposed to that recommendation? Fabulous. All right. Moving on then to 703.10.2. This is a big section, right? You mentioned that.
Well, this one I didn't see any changes to. And I
Are
don't
we
know.
looking at, which one are we looking at? I'm sorry, 703.4?
703.10.2. Oops, hold on, 703.10.2. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing.
Oh, you're correct, Michelle. There's no changes at the national level in that section for 2021.
So then we keep this one. Yeah.
Agreed.
I think did we skip over flashing or did we do it so quick? It was a flash and I missed it.
I think we did skip over it. I think I filled in the box twice. So I think that's my fault.
Oh, 7034. I apologize. I thought that was the last one we were on. I'm glad somebody's paying attention.
Yeah, so this one here, there's some changes here and I didn't know how to apply that.
Okay.
So I could ask for help on this one
Absolutely.
because they added ring shank nails in one section. They added a lot of verbiage changes into another.
Okay.
But we're just looking at 703.4, not subsequent sections, right?
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just one small change in that section. I'm trying to compare our language in theirs to see if it's that first not exception, but first location.
So Ray, if you'll scroll up a little on your screen. Little, maybe just slow for me. So under number 1 is where our change at the state level occurred. It appears that they matched our change for the most part, which is striking all the additional language. You can see the delete arrow there on your screen. So I believe our current amendment under 703.4 is no longer needed. We will have to address the new language from the ICC under 703.4.1. But we're not going to do that at this time. We're just going to look at our current state amendment. Michelle or Jen or anyone else, do you see that differently for the 2021 language?
Sorry, I'm having to pull things up on my end since the screen's moving around and trying to compare the
Okay.
WAC
Not a
in the
problem.
2021.
I've done the same. I've got my codes on split screen. So.
It's so hard when you've got
Thanks,
the
Ray.
Zoom meeting too.
So I just saw that under number 1 as well. Being installed in accordance with section 7 R703.4.1.
So we also have mechanically attached flexible flashings shall comply with AAMA 712. Do we want that to 703.4.1?
That looks
Then-
like it's going to be covered in that 703.4.1.
Cool.
So we can address that.
I think then, yeah, I think you're right then, Micah. I think we can get rid of this one.
Okay. Awesome. So Ray, you had a premonition to just delete amendment on that next one. You did good. All right, so that covers chapter 7. And with that, I will entertain a motion for modifying or keeping or modifying the amendments as shown on the screen.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a second. All right. We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion on those items? Hearing none, again, I will ask for any opposition to that motion to please say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. We will move on to Chapter 8. Man, we got a lot of.
Looks like this one's just reserved. So.
Oh, well, how about that? Man, Quinn did a lot of work on that, so that's great. Okay. Well, I guess I'd staying consistent. Just kidding. I'm not going to ask for a vote on Chapter 8. I think we're fine with keeping that reserved at this time. All right. Moving on to Chapter 9.
Since he's not here, I'll just kind of go off his notes. He said he had no notes with the question mark, and he recommended on keeping the amendment for 90341.
Yeah, I don't see any changes.
Okay. Great. Yeah, ICC probably would not make that change considering we're pointing to the Uniform Plumbing Code and all they want us to do is adopt the IPC. So
that is it for 8 and 9.
all right. Well, we're rolling right through them. How about that?
Mhm. Let's see here.
Well, since we did have a keep amendment on Chapter 9, let's go ahead and go formal. And can I get a motion to maintain the amendment on Chapter 9?
So moved.
In a second, please.
Second.
Appreciate that. Any additional discussion on that? Hearing none. Any opposition to that motion, please say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. All right. Chapter 10. Why do we have so many changes in Chapter 10?
I don't see any changes to the base code for dampers.
Okay.
Quinn's note was to keep amendment as well.
Okay.
Okay. If I'm making anybody seasick, I'm sorry. I'm trying to jump around here.
We'll survive, I think.
I did not have any more notes other until we get down to 1004.
Okay.
1.2.
So 1002.2, I don't see any changes for that. And then the next one must be our section only. They don't have a 0.2.1.
Correct. I agree with that.
So we should be able to keep those two.
Agreed.
Yeah, the base code does not have a 1004.1.1 either. Yeah, so that's ours alone, so that we should be able to keep that. And same for the next one.
Agreed. For me. There's 4 other people on the call though, besides you and I, Jen. So does anybody else agree or disagree with that? We'll take silence as agreement, I guess.
I think a lot of this in this section was legislative mandate. They got into solid fuel burning compliances.
Right. So is my numbering off? Because I've got a 1006.2 for changes. And then we strike 1006.4, but I don't see 1006.2 on your list, Ray.
I don't see a state amendment for it on the website.
That's something that I,
Exterior air intake.
We don't, yeah, there's not a state amendment for it.
huh. Well, I'm gonna have to come back and check, find out why that's in my code. Okay,
Yeah, this section is not in the base code. That's ours alone. So we can keep that. But those notes, I don't know if that matters, but those notes were duplicated and those don't really apply. That passageway not adopted note.
Were you saying for just 1006.4, or was that for 10, also for 1006?
Yeah, for that second one, that note was copied down. It doesn't matter, I guess, but that doesn't apply. The passageway not adopted note doesn't make
Oh, okay.
sense for this. But
Oh, I see.
yeah, but 6.6 is ours. There's not a 6.6 in the base code, so there are no changes to it.
And that is our fireplaces.
so that's where my mistake is coming into play. There was a state amendment that struck 1006.2 and replaced it with what we're calling 1006.6. The exterior air intake. That has been struck by the state for a couple of cycles now. At least.
So
So
yeah, this
it's-
is the one, and I don't see it. This is,
So it's missing from the WAC, is that the?
Well, I think this may be one that actually talked to similar to what I talked to Storian about previously. There's nothing in the WAC that's showing full sections that we strike through. We also, let me verify that that's the case. We also strike through 1006.1.1 and 1006.1.2 and have for a couple of cycles. So there's 3 sections that we actually strike in 1006. So Ray, we may need to note that. And if you'd like, folks, I can share my screen. Let me split it real fast. We want to see this code language. And like I
oh,
said,
did you want to, I stopped sharing if you want to share.
yeah, let me do that real fast so you all don't think I'm crazy, although that might not change anything. Okay, you folks see that?
Mm-hmm.
So on the right-hand side is the 2021 IRC. And then on the left-hand side, this is the 2018. As you can see here, we actually have 3 Washington amendments that strike 1006.1.1, 1006.1.2, and 1006.2, and we replace it with 1006.2, which is on your list, Ray, is 1006.6. And so these deletions are not shown. And if you, that was also the way it was in the 2015 Washington State Code. So I guess, Ray, we'll just need to go back and figure out where those went.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't be here unless they got messed up in the 18 filing.
It's possible.
Well, it would have to be at this point, since it was struck out of the 18, we can't just put it back in without a code proposal. If it was struck out of the 18.
Okay, here's the 15 code as well. You can see it's
Mhm.
right
I
out
would-
there. So
I'll do a little bit of research, but yeah, if it got struck out of the 18, it would have to be a code proposal to be put back in because it was done through filing.
Okay.
So it's 1006. Let me see, 1006.2.
yeah, 1006.1.1, 1006.1.2, and 1006.2.
Okay, I'll do some research and find out when that was removed.
And I'll stop sharing.
I'm gonna put, I put this 1006.2. I'll put code proposal needed. Just so we have a note that we need to look at something.
Okay.
Hold on here, let me do something here. 1006.1.1 through, there we go.
Ooh.
I'll figure it out. Okay, I'll figure it out.
Appreciate it, Ray. And if you wouldn't mind sharing your screen again so we can see
Oh,
where we're on the list. I
I'm
believe that was the last one on that section of the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm over here typing away like crazy and you guys
That's
don't even
okay.
know what to do. All
That's
right,
all right. Do your thing.
so I just made a note over here and I got my notes. We'll check on that.
Okay. All right. So on that code proposal, would that come from the tag or would that come from staff? Are you going to go through and look and figure out what happened there and tell
I'll
us?
figure
later?
out what happened, but it'll have to come from a tag or an outside entity. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How would you like the motion to look on chapter 10 then?
Well, since it's struck and if you want it back in, it would have to be a code proposal. So I mean, I can't see another way of putting it back in without running it through filing. So I think the way it is on screen would be perfect.
Okay.
And this is Toyan. Even with a note, staff research or something similar to that, it's okay with the report. We will know that we need some extra work on it. So, the report is just to make points and the council staff will follow up with that.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks, Stoyan. Are folks okay deleting those sections out based on what was replaced for solid fuel burning appliances and fireplaces as our current amendment?
No objection.
Okay. Thanks, Ron.
Agreed.
Okay. I think that was Michelle. All right. With that, then, I will entertain a motion for keeping or modifying amendments to chapter 10 as shown on the screen. So if I can get that motion, it'd be great.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second.
Second.
All right, thank you. Any additional discussion necessary? Okay, hearing none. Any opposition to that motion, please say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Fabulous. All right. I believe the preceding chapters are being dealt with by the energy tag. Is that correct, Ray?
I believe so. I
Okay.
don't remember exactly which which chapters the energy code did, what they were assigned, but I think it was all mechanical, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's quite a few of them, 12 through, is it 20 something?
So just want to make sure everybody sees what we're voting on.
And then the state does not adopt certain other chapters, correct?
That is correct.
So if I remember correctly, Ray, the next one we would discuss is chapter 29.
29. Okay. Let me want to make sure we work our way down the list so we don't accidentally miss something.
Okay.
Boilers. If you wanted to look at this, this is what the plumbing tag did for as far as the hydronic piping. They were so we voted on it to move it as on screen. I don't know if you wanted to look at that or not.
At this time, I would say if the plumbing tag has covered it, we'll leave it at that since we're limited on our time in getting this report to SBCC. Council.
Did we do solar thermal?
No,
Okay.
that probably would be energy.
Okay. I'm just gonna. All right, now we're on chapter 29.
Excellent.
Thank you for bearing with me through those. Well, this is a funny one. I know that Todd and I didn't have a chance to connect. He did leave me a message on my phone. It's a not adopted chapter, but we have reference to it.
I thought we adopted 2904 for the dwelling unit sprinkler system since we had made the modification at the state to provide sprinklers for townhouses or require sprinklers for townhouses, 4 units or more.
Yeah, I know that Todd and I were going to talk about this, and then Stoyan and I were going to have a meeting. We exchanged emails about it because there was some confusion. We wanted to clean up the confusion, but I wasn't. We have a lot of stuff coming up, so we had a hard time getting connected.
I'd be happy to participate in that since this was actually one of my code changes. And the uninhabitable attic language was part of the habitable attic change from last code cycle.
Micah, if I can add a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
So the first issue is that we say we don't adopt chapter 29, but we amended section 2904 and we refer to section 2904. And the other thing is that we have Appendix U and Appendix V. So when you follow the path, from chapter 3 to chapter 29, Appendix U and Appendix V, it's a big confusion. It's a common question. So all these, they need to be evaluated, I think, at the same with the same package.
Sure.
I'm not sure we can do anything right now, but it definitely needs a code proposal, again, related to the fire sprinkler systems.
And that's fine. Stoyan, is what I'll do is I'll look at my code proposal from last cycle. I'm pretty sure that how I provided it was, it's not that we wouldn't adopt chapter 29. It was that we would only adopt this part of 29. And the rest of it was supposed to show a strike through. So I will see if I can dig that up for you in the next couple of days and send that over if we need to provide it as a code change proposal again. We probably should look at the current language under 2904 that has a modification other than the entire adoption of 2904.
We probably need to go up in the administration where we said chapter 29 is not adopted and put an exception.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there are different options, but I guess more than one brain will be much better, so we can regroup and we can find a solution on that. But we get questions about this very often. I would say at least twice per week. It includes some cities and counties that they want to modify the requirements for sprinkler systems, fire sprinklers, and they get confused with the existing amendment. So that will need more work.
Okay.
So Micah,
Yep.
Micah, this is Todd. I met with Darren this past week, and I think we got a pretty good handle. This is very confusing, and I think there's some pretty simple steps to coordinate without really changing anything of the intent. But I know that there's two appendixes. We probably only need one. And I think the work that Darren and I have done, we just need to coordinate with this small group. And I think we'll probably end up with some code proposed changes, but they won't be any kind of substantial changes. It'll be just coordinating with our current language.
Okay. Awesome, Todd. Thanks for that info.
I had a question. So
Go ahead.
the confusion is over where it's at and what it's saying, not with the content. Is that correct?
That's correct. So this has been there's a couple of points that were substantial when this code was being developed. Excuse me. The builders were really wanting to make sure that P2904 was recognized as an installation standard as well as 13D. So there's no issue with that. And then the fire service, the State Building Code Council was saying that local jurisdictions could adopt the requirements for fire sprinklers without needing a secondary approval from the Code Council, but just simply a notification. And then we have since had that code proposed change that we changed the language slightly with the attics, and we said habitable attics. So that's a very easy fix. But we have code language in multiple locations. So it really, from what all I can see is it's just a clean up and create a very simple path for all of these. So there are several sections that would need to be modified, but it would not be any substantial change. It would just be restating basically what the intent was.
Okay.
Micah, if I can clarify something about the appendices.
Sure.
So Appendix U is adopted by the council. So if a local jurisdiction wants to adopt and enforce Appendix U, it's already adopted. It doesn't need approval by the council. It's not the case with Appendix V. So Appendix V is not adopted by the council. So it's there, but a local jurisdiction that wants to adopt it by a local ordinance will need approval by the council. That's the difference between these two appendices, that, whatever proposal we develop, these two need to be taken into consideration. I don't know why back in 2018, the council adopted these appendices in a different way, but this is how, when you read the WAC, this is what it says. Appendix U is adopted by the council, doesn't need additional approval. Appendix V needs additional approval by the council if adopted by a local jurisdiction.
Huh. Okay.
I know it's confusing, but this is
No,
how the adoption happened a few years ago.
perfectly fine and understandable that there's confusion. So
Micah,
it sounds like we're going to get some changes to it. Todd, go ahead.
Micah, sorry, but actually in R 102.5 appendices, it very expressly states that both U and V are adopted by the council, would not require. So this is part of the reason why we need this cleanup.
Well, we can argue about that, but not now. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like we're going to get some cleanup. And I guess the question for the tag today, but we'll just wait for cleanup. Well, I take that back. We should look at the current amendment to 2904 and whether or not we want to maintain that language. I think that's what we're here to do. And Stoyan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're looking at current amendments. There is a current amendment, whether it's going to get cleaned up or not in the future. We still need to look at the current amendment, which is the changes are actually under number 1 that Ray is shown on the screen. And it just adds the word uninhabitable in the first sentence and the second sentence of number 1.
The TAC members have two options, recommend keeping the amendment or with a note that will say, further study or further clarification is needed, and we'll continue working with this, and maybe we'll have a code proposal. That something that will clarify that for the moment it's okay, but we'll keep working on it.
Okay. That sounds like a fabulous recommendation to me, but I'm the chair of the tag. So what does the tag say on that recommendation?
Do we need a motion?
We could, if that's the direction you'd like to go. Absolutely, Ron.
I guess the motion would be to further evaluate the and develop a clarification as to the location of the section 24 or 2904. I don't, kind of stumbling for words there.
No, that sounds about right. You would like to keep the current amendment though as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I think Ray can put that down as something that works for them, but the motion's pretty much maintain amendment with further clarification on organization. Let's just go that route. Does that sound fair enough for everyone as the motion?
Sounds good to me.
Excellent. Can I get a second for Ron's motion? Thanks, Ron.
Second.
Awesome. All right. Any additional discussion for that? Hearing none. Is there any, if there is any opposition to that motion, please say nay. All right. Hearing none, that motion carries, and we'll look forward to that additional research and the proposals. So awesome. All right. Where do we go from here, Ray? Is it tiny houses?
Looks like.
Oh, radon.
Radon.
Sorry, I went out of order there.
So let's see here.
Actually, I think we missed one. Did we miss or skip reference standards?
I see it's up here, 4,400. Where did I? How did I? Delete it somewhere. I will. How about we just do this?
I think I just saw it in your spreadsheet. I think the spreadsheet's just jumping badly when you scroll.
It is jumping badly.
Yeah.
I got 29. Excel's hard to scroll smoothly.
Yeah.
Reference
So
standard.
you can,
here.
there you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's there.
So I unfortunately have not had a chance to look at this section. I'm not sure if any of the tag members have. So
So is this the same as all the other ones? We're just trying to make sure, did anything change in the 2021?
correct.
Or if any of them need to be updated to a different year.
Right. Or if we're going to, the other part of that, I think, is some of this is we do early adoption of some of these standards that maybe don't make it into the 2021. This may be something we need to research before we make a motion on. And I'm sorry I didn't get to
I
it.
see a lot of blue on the ICC website. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that needs to be gone through probably like line by line, and there might be some that we can strike because they've got it now, or.
Agreed.
I will-
Okay.
I will put all these standards in the spreadsheet for a deep review.
Okay. So Storian, how do you want to handle this? Because I know this report needs to go to staff. Is it just, or not staff, the full council? Do we have one more meeting before the full council? I apologize.
We do have one more meeting before the
Okay.
council.
So we've got enough time to go through these before that next meeting.
Yeah, the next meeting is our deadline meeting, that everything has to be complete.
Okay. All right. Then that's what we'll do. We'll skip that one and go to radon. Sorry, I apologize. Let me get there.
What I have here, oh, I know what to get. Okay, this is, like I said, this is just a title, so amendments.
Okay. And I had looked at this one and I didn't see any necessary updates. But I'm not a radon expert. Maybe some east side folks have more input on radon.
Yeah, I didn't see anything change in the base code there, Micah. And the only thing that had changed is a requirement for testing down the road.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Sounds like the recommendation will be to keep our amendments in that appendix. Excellent.
They did make two very small changes, maybe not worth amending this further for, but they updated the figure and table number to be AF 101.1. There's only one figure, I think, so our figure number still is fine. And then we have paren 1 for the table number, so those don't seem important.
Nice catch, though.
I wonder why they changed it to 0.1 when usually tables are paren. Huh.
Maybe their figure covers the entire US and our figure is just Washington specific.
Oh.
So maybe that's why we're paren 1.
Probably. That's a good point.
But that's still a nice catch. I don't have any recommendations. I would think that ours would be fine
Yeah,
in that instance.
just wanted to mention it.
That's nice. Very thorough. Very thorough.
But somebody's awake.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Okay. So with that, since we're in appendix and we are recommending keeping all of the current amendments, can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion necessary? Hearing none. If there's any opposition to that motion, please say nay. All right, hearing none, we're going to call that as that motion carries. All right, on to Appendix Q. You guys ready for a 2-hour discussion? No, I'm kidding.
Who put this in the code?
Some organization you guys get tired of hearing from.
Uh,
I just don't know.
Well, since it's not in the base code, I'm going to recommend we keep it.
Okay.
Could we make a motion to just transfer all this to L and I?
We have tried.
Yes, we have.
We have tried with state legislation, and we have tried.
Oh, the tiny houses.
Yeah, loads of fun. So Ray, I also need to request, has the energy tag looked at this?
I am not aware. Never haven't.
Okay. Could you put that on their list if they have not? Because the modifications to Appendix Q from the current amendment actually modify air leakage testing and whole house ventilation for these spaces, which is energy code. So as our amendment really just strikes the majority of Appendix Q and adds some energy code allowances for these smaller spaces. That's pretty much the gist of what's going on here. If folks aren't aware of that.
So it's just for 104, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I thought that this was totally our addition.
It is not. So there is an Appendix Q, AQ, actually, Appendix AQ in the
And there are
2020.
changes in it.
Yeah, there are lots of changes to that appendix. And then our amendment is what we did. I'm not sure, Jen, if you're aware, we had some legislative mandates to do something about tiny houses last code cycle. So as what we determined was a dwelling unit's a dwelling unit, so these aren't really special. So as what we did is we took the majority of this Appendix Q language and we moved that up into it's R3. Oh, it's the sleeping loft stuff. 327. R327. So what we did, like I said, what we did there is we took that, and then there was also a national proposal to modify some of the energy conservation requirements in Appendix Q that we thought was beneficial. So there's really a couple of amendments to this section. And that energy conservation is kind of, hey, these are really small spaces and they function different than larger spaces for leakage testing and mechanical ventilation, whole house mechanical ventilation. And
Yeah,
so
and
those were some changes made there.
and then the 104.1, that was part of my confusion, is because loss is 104.1, but basically we struck a lot of the language within this appendix. So that's why we're reusing that number, because, and then a lot of that information lives in 327.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So it looked like we were kind of clobbering the numbers there, but.
Yeah, I think it worked out okay.
So then when we looked at R327, though, since that was additional, we did not look at the changes in the base code that were made under Appendix Q, but really should have been considered for R327.
Possibly.
Well, definitely, because I'm the one that did it.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'll need to go back through this then, as if it was changing under R327.
Okay. And then I know there is a significant updated proposal coming in for sleeping lofts. We've spent a lot more time and work on making it better, hopefully. So that's where we are with Appendix Q. I don't know if that answers any questions or makes it any easier. But I guess the question will be, do we want to maintain our current amendments And then we'll evaluate the new language when we do the ICC significant changes review. Does that sound correct? Maybe Ray, Stoyan?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I think anything that would be changing in this energy code section would have to be a code change proposal anyways. Because I don't think anything would be just clerical at this point. Nothing's clerical in the energy code, I don't think.
no.
So would
Well-
you rather, just as thinking off the top of my head here, would you rather just put keep amendments and then I just send this over to Krista to say the energy tag might want to look at this for code change proposals?
Yes, that sounds like a good recommend. That would be my recommendation. Of course, the rest of the tag needs to speak to that.
Oops. Didn't mean to do that.
That sounds right to me. It looks like the AQ 106 energy conservation language is mostly what we amended previously, aside from the alternative compliance allowances. So yes, energy tag should look at that section.
Or we'll bring it to their attention that there's this in there. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
And I added keep amendment for 105, just real quick. We didn't talk about it, but I
Oh,
figured.
yes. Yes, I gotta scroll down one page to see that. Thank you. All right. Everybody confused enough on this section? Excellent. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion for keeping the amendments in Appendix Q and referring a section to energy code as shown on the screen, energy code tag as shown on the screen. That'd be the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. And we have a second. Fabulous. Any further discussion on that at this time? All right. Any opposition to that motion, please say nay. Motion carries. Okay. Getting down. What time are we at? Oh, we're doing pretty good. And I'm sorry if I have missed some of the chat for folks. It looks like Stoyan put some information there. Stoyan, did we need to go over that section?
No, we don't. I was just trying to provide the language that, adds to the confusion, because in one section we say something and in another section we say something else. And now we'll get to Appendix U and you'll see that there are other exceptions to 290411. So that needs to be evaluated, and it definitely needs new proposals.
Okay. Excellent. And now it's kind of what you had alluded to as well, Todd. Make sure I get the stuff in here. Okay.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, everybody, and welcome, Quinn. It's okay, you were late. I'm sorry I missed the chat a little earlier, folks.
I think we covered it pretty well when we did 29. So I just put in our notes, see chapter 29 notes, since it's the same thing.
Okay. I can agree with that. Anybody else need any other information on Appendix U? Okay. Since we have already approved that in a different section, I'll leave it as is, and then we're on to Appendix T. All right. Sorry, I don't have it pulled up yet. So in the 2021, this would actually be Appendix AT. There are some obvious minor modifications at the national level. However, I don't think they incorporated the Washington language.
In 103.1, we have between 90 degrees and 270 degrees, and they have changed that to be 110 degrees and 270 degrees. I don't know if we want to move to be consistent with that or not.
That's a great question. Sorry, I'm looking down at what we modified. So it looks like we completely strike that. Section, or at least all that language without replacement. So we don't have it. It doesn't look like the Washington Amendment has any information on orientation.
They do under, currently we do. I have on the state amendment on the screen.
Yeah, I wonder if the reason that it's in here is just because of the numbering, because we have to call it U-103, right? Is that right? No.
Hmm.
What would be U-103? Shouldn't that be T-103? AT-103?
Yeah.
On the
Because yeah, U would be the fire sprinklers, right?
yes.
So that looks like that's an error, an existing error that needs to be corrected in 103.1 there and maybe elsewhere.
Yep. The title got changed last year, but the references did not get updated. Because last cycle, not last year. Last cycle it was Appendix U.
Oh, I see. You're talking right here. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm following you now. Okay. 1031. That could be considered editorial. See.
Otherwise, you know, other than that 90 versus 110, it's really the same language, isn't it? So I guess I'm confused why we have this. Oh, they have and multiple single family dwellings, paren townhouses. That's what we have? So that's the difference. But I don't know if that's helpful because we don't really call townhouses multiple single family dwellings elsewhere, really, that I'm aware of. I guess my vote is that we delete this amendment unless there's something in here I'm missing that's important that we need to have. Those exceptions are pretty small. I can't really read them.
Well, let me.
That's okay. That's just so
Okay.
I can make my screen bigger.
They're small for me too. I'm looking right now. Were you talking just deleting the section 1031?
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at the 2021, it's basically the same, other than we have 90 degrees. Now they have 110, but that's a new change. So it probably was also 90 degrees.
Okay.
But we have this weird, this awkward language around townhouses, multiple single family dwellings, paren townhouses, and they just have townhouses.
Interesting.
I wonder if that was supposed to be 2 family dwellings and multiple family, what was it? Not single. I think it was supposed to be multi-family dwellings.
Wouldn't be under this code.
No.
So yeah, I think it's just a weird way. I mean, maybe we should go back to 2018 and see what that was, and that might shed some light.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, we've also got that weird multiple single family dwellings language in the title. So we've amended the title because somehow and townhouses was not sufficient. I don't know, does anybody remember the issue there?
I have no clue.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
One of those I don't have an answer on. And one of the reasons too is Seattle heavily amends this appendix for us. So, yeah.
Because we also have like the definition now, right, between like an individual townhouse and the block of them together.
Right.
So maybe we should be consistent with those definitions too. Because maybe I wonder if it's saying like that whole block of, so instead of an individual townhouse unit, you're at like the whole building.
Look, I'm thinking you're onto something by deleting it. I like the 21 language. Let's see, I don't know what I'm saying.
So if we went with the 2021 language, then an individual townhouse unit, I think that's the difference. I think they were trying to say the whole building that contains all the townhouses with not less than 600 square feet, right?
I think so, yeah. But that's I don't dive into this very often.
So then we have definitions now that are supposed to clarify that. So I'm just pulling up the definitions to see what we call that block, that whole building. If only the internet would comply.
Should be townhouse, the individual unit. So yeah, there's two definitions. But a building, excuse me, 3 or more units is a townhouse, where the individual unit's just a townhouse unit.
So yeah, I can see where that's confusing. Because, you know, colloquially we call, if I'm walking down the street and there's a townhouse, I'm not calling the whole structure a townhouse. And I'm not saying, oh, this townhouse unit, right? I call the individual one a townhouse. So maybe that was just trying to extra clarify, although it should be in italics, right? If it's in a definition, I don't know that the WAC does it, but in our code books, if that just said townhouse and it was italicized, then you'd know for sure, okay, they're using the definition of townhouse, which is a building that contains all of the units.
This is Toyan. I don't know if I will clarify something or will add more confusion. I'm not an expert and that's an NTC either, but just something to think about. When we set the solar ready zone area, so I guess there is a difference between 300 square feet or 150 per unit or the entire roof. I mean, if we have attached single family dwellings, townhouses, they have the same roof more often. Again, it's for discussion purposes. I'm not sure I'm correct on this one, but I'm reading the language, and the other option is, again, staff will do the research. We need to figure out what is the intent for this amendment. And currently we don't know why it was changed in 2018.
Yeah, my guess is because they didn't have that definition clarification yet, or they just even with that, it's like, just to make it really clear, we're talking about the whole townhouse building and not an individual townhouse unit. But but instead of making up a new definition on the fly, which is that kind of what that's doing here, and it's confusing, it might be better to just say it, right? Say, we mean that we, you know, in a better way, but that we mean the townhouse and not the individual townhouse unit. So an exception or whatever the best way is to do it. But what's done here is we think people are going to assume an individual townhouse unit. So we're going to try to explain what a townhouse is in this new definition that's only exists basically here and nowhere else in the code.
So your, excuse me. So your recommendation is just to put townhouse in italicized so it'll be as defined in the IRC now.
Yeah, and possibly adding some other language to make, you know, to say not a townhouse unit, but in the, I'd have to write it out to tell you what I'm proposing, I guess.
We could say something like a townhouse building. Because that's part of the definition.
I would use the definition, but then clarify that it does not, that this does not apply to an individual townhouse unit.
Right.
And then I guess I don't know enough about solar, but that 90 degrees versus 110, maybe propose to be consistent with the base code of 110, unless there's some reason that 90 works better maybe for Washington State. And then that cleanup to fix those section numbers that we've already noted. It's kind of three things.
We could keep the amendment and then need a code change proposal.
Yeah.
At the house.
That's probably, and I would propose that whatever we're doing in here to change this language, that, I mean, they've also made the title different, right? That multiple single family dwellings, paren townhouses is in the title. So be consistent there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great.
I don't know, this is Quinn here. I feel like we don't really need this amendment anymore. We could just go based on the model code. Just seems cleaner. I mean, there's a couple other stuff that our amendment changed, but the model code also changed to match our amendment now. And then I don't know about AT 103.3. The model code says as required by the International Fire Code, and ours just says by this code. And I know that we spoke about it, last week, about, go back and forth about that, going back to the fire code or not to the fire code in 324.
Yeah, so really we could just keep this like Quinn's saying, and then if there needs to be some better clarification around what townhouses means here, then that could be the code change proposal separately.
Okay.
I'm happy to put that on my personal laundry list of code change proposals I'd like to see. So
Oh,
we don't
hey.
forget
Okay.
about, and maybe we can think about what's the best language for that.
Okay.
If we even need anything, maybe we just keep
Like,
it.
my question
That
to
would be
Ray,
the next, that
would it
would
be-
be, oh, I'm sorry, Quinn, go ahead.
sorry. So I just had a quick question. Would it be easier just to not, for this tag to not adopt this amendment and then do a code proposal? Or would it be easier to say, yes, let's keep this amendment and then have Jennifer do the code proposal?
It's really the same either way at this point. I think yeah, if we keep it, it's just gonna do, either way, there's gonna be a code change proposal, it sounds like. So I think it's the same, either way that we go. And I mean, that's the next step after we get done with this report is we'll be hashing through code change proposals and making the language the way that we think it should be seen. And so, yeah, I guess it would be up to the tag how they would feel best doing it.
So I guess my question then to the tag is, because code change proposals are not 100% guaranteed, worst case scenario, the proposal doesn't get adopted, would you guys be okay with the current language or the model code? And for me, I would say model code sounds better if we can't get the proposal through.
I agree, but somebody obviously felt like this extra clarification around townhouses was necessary enough to put it in a code change proposal and in the title. And it just seems like we're kind of missing that person's argument, right?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Call former Supervisor Lee Kranz and see if that was his.
Well, I do know that there was an ad hoc tag committee put together for the solar stuff. So it went through a pretty rigorous process.
So I guess if it went through a fairly rigorous process, how long ago was this? Because as you all been talking, I've been sitting here going through section by section. There's not much difference in 90% of this based on maybe 95% of it based on the current 2021 Appendix AT.
You're correct. That was all this ad hoc tag and everything was pre me, before I even started for the State Building Code Council. And I started in 18. So yeah, it was before I started.
Yeah, and this section is basically the same back in 2018, other than adding that exception number 2. So
Yeah,
now
'cause-
I'm gonna look up at the 2015.
15 is the same. I just looked it up. Exception number 2 is an easy one. That's the one I was saying in the 18 model code, they said T103 when it should have been 8. And so we changed it to AT103.
I found it. The 2015 base code does say multiple single family dwellings, paren townhouses, because back then they didn't have that definition, split townhouse versus townhouse unit. So that's not our language, that's base code that changed from 2015 to 2018. So we probably should have already made this fix back in 2018.
Agreed.
And that 110 is in 2015, and then it goes to 90 in 2018. Now it's back to 110. So I think we can just strike this. We don't need this amendment. I don't think anybody in the state of Washington made an argument to call townhouses multiple single family dwellings. And I suggest that we change that in the title.
Micah, if there is a person who knows the history, this is Krista, and I just invited her to log in, and she's in already. So if she knows some history about this appendix, Krista, I know you missed most of the conversation, but anything you can recall on this appendix? Appendix T.
I wasn't really involved in its initial adoption, which I think was the 2012 code. Might have been the 2015, but I think it was 2012. Was there something specific that you were wondering?
I think more or less at this point, we were just curious if this was done as a state amendment, and now to us, it looks like it's all in the base code for the most part. And so the concern was there was indication there was a subcommittee or an ad hoc committee for this, but what we're seeing now is all this more or less aligns with the 2021 IRC appendix. And maybe that's the concern, is should we change it if there's some history there that we shouldn't change?
Well, it was set up as a pre-approved local amendment.
Okay.
But certainly there was not a similar appendix in the IRC at that time.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you, Krista. So I think the chat, at least I've heard from Quinn and Jen, that they indicate that we should just go with the base code language since it seems to align significantly. I would be of the same mindset. Is there any?
So the
Other-
only curveball, Micah,
Yep.
is that AT 103.3, where the model code references the IFC and our code, our amendment says required by this code. So that's the only difference right now.
Okay.
Well, not really. Well, first of all, we're just looking at 103.1. We haven't even dove into the other ones, but there's other differences in 103.3, like that same cleaning up of that language. They're no longer using multiple single family dwellings, townhouses. They're just saying new townhouses.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to me we would like to go with the base code language with a possible amendment for the fire code issue. Is that what I'm hearing, Quinn and Jen, or anyone else?
Micah, this
Yeah.
is Todd.
We didn't read the rest of them though.
Todd, go
I'm
ahead.
seeing in the 2021 where it's referencing the fire code.
Right. It looks like it's done in two places, three places.
103.3. The fire code does reference the International Residential Code, and then it has provisions for accessing the roof.
Right.
So we would not want to lose the coordination.
Right. And Todd, correct me, I thought there was an amendment that the IFC for the state was not going to require access around residential solar ready.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it just references the IRC. Let me hold on here. Does anybody know that section reference by the top of their head?
It doesn't have a specific section. Sorry.
I see where it references. I'm trying to think of where that would be in the IFC. I just beat it
Are you
up.
talking about the reference to solar in the IFC?
Yeah, then we
What-
point to IRC
1204.
1204. Okay, let's see here. Bear with me just a second here. Fire code.
And in the IFC, there are quite a few references to exceptions of IRC build. Because the IFC speaks more about the group R3.
It looks like for the 2021 code, 1204 has been struck and reserved in the IFC. Yeah, all of the, it looks like it moved to 1205, excuse me. Hold on here. It was struck, moved, I'll make this bigger. So it went to 1205 in the IFC. Here is the R3 section.
I could connect with the IFC tag and the folks that have been through the process for the 2021 and report back.
Let me see here. Yeah, I think, I'm thinking out loud here. I remember, I think we just renumbered, just kept these, when we did the this, we just renumbered it and moved them down, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So in response to Todd, so our amendment struck out at least one call out for the IFC. And then also I just noticed that in 103.3, there's a last sentence that we added that's not in the model code. In 103.3, if you look at that last sentence, that's specific to our state. No portions of the solar zone shall be located on a slope. So that's very specific to ours, so.
Why would that be? Could you explain that one?
I honestly don't know.
I don't either. I would like to check the 2015. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 2018.
Yeah, that's not in the 2015 base
Right.
code either.
It's really odd language. It's a strange addition.
So then for 103.3, my only suggestion would be to just call it townhouses and strike that multiple single family dwellings.
Yeah, a townhouse is a townhouse.
And that's, yeah, that's from the base code. So I would, if we kind of skipped over and we haven't kind of gone through these one by one, but I would start with the title, fixing the title to be back to just detached 1 and 2 family dwellings and townhouses, which it has been since 2018. In the base code.
Okay. Ray, you want to take notes under that individual section?
And then 103.1, I would say delete amendment, not modify it.
Which did you want to call multifamily? What the,
That would be the title.
sorry, you
So that
said-
would be section 101.
and what did they want it to be called?
To
Yes,
just match the base code, solar ready provisions, detached 1 and 2 family dwellings and townhouses.
Space code. And then. So match the base code for title.
So 101, so starting at the top, 101.1, we're verbatim the base code. So why, I don't know why we have that one either. So I think we can delete 101.1.
Okay.
And
then
then
the
103.2, we can also delete. That's exactly verbatim base code.
So would we like to discuss? Never mind. 102. I was going to say, do we want to keep that definition as written?
That is different than the base code for general definitions. That's an addition, solar ready zone.
That's in the 2021. That general definition for solar ready zone. 102.
Do you wanna-
So
Was that I'm sorry.
So 102, there's no there's no reason to maintain an amendment. It's verbatim per the 2021 language. Now we can move to 103.
I don't see, it's not verbatim.
The
the
definition of solar ready zone.
Yeah, so in the 2021, it's or solar thermal system, and we have or solar water heating system.
Oh, I did miss that. What's the difference in those two systems? Anyone?
Well, you could be heating other things other than water.
But
don't
this
see-
wouldn't be allowed for that under the state amendment, correct? It would only be photovoltaic or water heating systems only.
Mhm. So somebody must have wanted that clarification. So it's the same in the 2018 and the 2015 when it was added. So it seems like that distinction when we first adopted this was,
Odd.
yeah, somebody wanted to say, well, what's thermal? Or maybe there's other things that we don't want to heat. I don't see the problem with thermal.
I don't either.
So, yeah, so maybe we can still delete it.
That would be my thought. Anybody else besides Jen and I? You're okay with solar thermal system? No strong opinions? Okay. Then we can move into 103. Once we're done with this one, we'll take a break.
So delete 103.
No, I didn't say delete. I was saying once we're done with this
Oh, okay.
appendix, we'll take a break. I know we're a couple hours in already.
I think that 103 is just a title. I don't think there's anything. There is no 103.
All right, so then that means we're down to 103.3.
And my only suggestion is to strike multiple single family dwellings and just use townhouses. And then maybe we keep the rest of it. Quinn, you've had a chance to look at it more. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't have any preference one way or the other. It's just I'm just having a hard time thinking this morning, remembering about the IFC stuff. I mean, like I said earlier, it's a change in ours, but yet I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then that last sentence seems kind of odd to me as well.
I think that if it's a really steep slope and it's facing within 45 degrees, I guess it was facing, I was thinking maybe the sun glaring off of it, but
Or the other thing I'm guessing is because it doesn't do anything because it's so
Yeah,
cloudy.
because it's so shaded, because it's
Yeah.
pointing north, not south.
So it defeats the purpose of it. So that's probably why our state said, no, let's not do it that way. But I don't know why we.
Yeah, that would be correct. This is John, just sitting in. I'm from the solar industry, actually. Yeah, they're probably excluding that, referring to that last sentence about the 212 facing within 45 degrees of north. That's exactly why they're omitting that, because it's just it would be so very not very productive enough. So.
So I guess my question from a tag building code stuff is why would the building code cared? Wouldn't that be more of a industry regulation? Like wouldn't they regulate it themselves rather than the building code?
Well, I think if people are trying to use it to gain credits, maybe that they wouldn't want to, give that any value for energy
Sure.
code credits.
Micah had to step away for a second.
So, no, I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm reading. I guess my question is, wouldn't that be covered under exception 2 in the general language for shading? Can something that is greater than 2 and 12 within 45 degrees of true north have less partial shading for less than 70% of the day? I guess that's, if it's not a big deal to leave it in there, it's fine. I'm just curious, as would exception number 2 under the general 103.1 capture that?
Well, there, just because at 212, if there's no other shading objects like, things on the roof or trees or whatever, then a 212 wouldn't be shaded by like the ridge or something, if that's what you're thinking.
Okay. And I'm totally fine leaving that language in there. Does anybody else on the tag have any heartburn on leaving that last sentence in there?
No, I don't have any heartburn. The going back to the IFC stuff on that, I think it's the second sentence or so. Todd wanted it to earlier. He said that he likes having that reference to IFC, but our amendment took away that reference, at least one part of it, because there is a reference at the second to last sentence. But then there's the let's see. The first sentence, yeah, it says as required by this code. In the model code, it does say as required by the International Fire Code. So I'm good with leaving it in our code, so keeping this amendment, but again, just trying to respect what Todd was asking about earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is Todd. In both instances, they're referring to the setbacks. So I'll do some research. I mean, I would be okay leaving it as it is. And I'll connect with some folks who have been working on this in the fire tag and see if there's any reason there's an issue. I don't see it. I think they're talking about the setbacks, which is our biggest concern, is operating on having a home with a solar on fire and having the ability to operate is our biggest issue, really.
Okay.
Do we want to note cleaning up the townhouse definition?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry to
Fine.
beat this horse to death.
No, it's
What we were just townhouse. Is that what it was?
yes.
Yeah, so just new townhouses.
Yeah. Let's do this. There we go.
Obstructions is verbatim base code and has been since this was adopted. So a lot of these sections seem to just be in here, but not because there's any changes.
Was that a delete recommendation?
Yeah, sorry. And then I think the same for shading. The solar ready zone.
I agree.
So we in capped roof penetration, we have a slope of 2 and 12 or less. Base code is 1 and 12. So I guess keep that one.
I think it'd be fine to keep it.
We can delete roof load documentation. That's the same. And I think we can delete the last three. Those are all verbatim base code. And that should be 103.10.
Yeah, I was trying to get that to work and it keeps, I even changed my number thing.
Keeps telling you no.
Yeah, me and Excel have a love-hate relationship sometimes. And
So sounds like that's all the sections at this point. However, I do want to go back and address 103.3 because I'd definitely like to wrap this up without further amendment. I believe the reason it says in the first sentence that the total solar ready shall not be less than the 300 exclusive of the setback areas as required by this code is because we do adopt and amend section R324, which has solar energy systems, and it has amendments and information in there on pathways and setbacks and things like that. So I think this was a way to, like Quinn indicated, not send you to another code to get that information. And it is covered in R324.6 for roof access and pathways. So I believe that our current amendment, minus the multiple single family dwelling information, should remain. I don't see any reason we actually need to send them to the fire code for anything else when that information is in the current residential code, and we maintained or kept the amendments in section 324. And if I need to share that on the screen, or if folks want to, if Ray wants to share that on the screen and go back and look at that, or just to verify, but that will be my recommendation. And maybe Todd can weigh in on that a little bit. I can share my screen if you'd like, just let me know.
am I not sharing what you're looking for, Micah? I thought I was.
You have the WAC language. I'm looking at section R324 is what I could go and share my screen on if need be.
I'll stop sharing. There you go.
Oops, I'm gonna hit the share button. I select the share button. So if you folks let me know when it's showing up. So
Gotcha.
as you see here, we have some amendments here in R324, which we adopt. And then this has the roof access and pathways. And all the information I think was brought over from the fire code.
Do we want to reference this code section instead of the vague this code, and then people don't even know that this is there to go look for it?
We definitely could if we felt the need.
Don't necessarily need to. And then we do have further down that, this code or the fire code. So that's a nice, like, they can go to the fire code, but we're
Right.
sort of still giving us that, like, hey, we've got this information here.
Correct.
So my stance on it is I'd like to keep it vague just for maintenance purposes. 324 might be in the future 325, but by saying it part of this code, then you don't have to change it every single time. Just
Okay.
maintenance.
I think that'd be fine too, because rooftop mounted photovoltaic is also mentioned in section R907, and it points to section 324. So I think that if we leave it at kind of the vague language as well, we would be okay, and we'd still, somebody would do this section. So, oops, that's not the right section. I went too far.
I do have a
Good.
question for John, if he's still around, John Lang.
Sure, if he's
It's,
willing to answer.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, John, going back to that whack about the definition, do you know anything about the difference between the solar water versus the solar thermal? Is there a reason why the state, do you know why Washington changed it?
I was listening to the discussion on that, and I just don't know with any degree of certainty, but my hunch based just on I've been in the industry for over 18 years, and I believe that someone mentioned that other things could be heated besides solar hot water. And I think they wanted to make it specific because there are some products that don't make sense in Washington. And one of them is like solar air heating. There was some experimentation done with their collectors on the roof that they send air up through to heat the air and then send it back into the home or whatever. So I'm not sure if that was kind of just to be more specific, because solar hot water heating is a viable way to use solar, but I'm not 100% sure about that. That is my guess and interpretation.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Because I was just talking to, while we were all doing this, I sent that same question to our mechanical engineer, and he seems to think that the thermal was more about passive solar, using windows and stuff as well. So, but anyways, it's just a side thing.
Right, like thermal mass and heating thermal mass and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm on mute. So is your question, Quinn, would it be better to maintain that current minutes to beat it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why we can't just keep it, or I don't really have any preference.
Okay. Jen, based on that, I think you were the other person that I also agreed with, that we could get rid of that amendment. Do you, based on that new information from John, would you like to keep the amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
So would we still be modifying the multi-single family, deleting that?
Yeah, we're actually talking about, we went back to the solar ready zone definition. So I'll stop sharing, Ray, and you can share your screen again.
Oh,
But that question was on the solar ready definition. And it sounds like based on that new information from John, we'd rather maintain the current amendment
okay.
for the definition. And then Todd, did you have any input on what I brought up for the reference back to the code under 103.3?
No, I mean, it seems like 324 is stating, it actually states that it's in accordance with the fire code too.
Okay.
So I think we're good.
Okay.
Are my notes on 103 correct too? Delete amendment, but leave townhouses. Oh, are we going to delete the whole amendment, or are we modifying the 103? 103
Sounds
one.
like we're going to modify it and
Okay.
modify the amendment.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think the only modification, and correct me folks if I'm wrong, would be to get rid of multiple single family dwellings.
Yeah, delete multi-single family dwellings, leave townhouses.
Yep.
Okay,
Take the rest of the amendment.
great, thank you.
Okay.
So do we need a
Sorry.
motion?
Yes, I was going to say we would need a motion. I think at this point, if we've covered all the sections, and great, motion would be good.
All right, so I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve what you see on the screen and what we just talked about.
So moved or seconded.
All right. Excellent. So we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion on this? I know we had a lot already, but be more than happy to listen some more. And that could be from anybody on the call, not just the tag members. So I don't know if I've said that before. Please feel free to chime in if you have something to share. All right, hearing no additional discussion, I'm going to ask if there's anyone in opposition to that motion to please say nay. All right, hearing none, that motion carries. I'm going to go ahead and say, I know we're only scheduled to go till noon, but over 2 hours is a pretty long time to sit in one place. So I'm going to say, let's go ahead and take a break for 10 minutes. So if everyone will come back at 11:30, then we'll wrap up whatever we've got to wrap up for today before noon if we can. So let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
Thank you, Micah.
Thanks. Thank you. Hello, Annie. Thanks for joining us. We're hopefully close to being done. Okay, so on to Appendix V. And then I think we'll have to go over a few things that I believe we asked for from staff from last meeting if it's done, and then we'll move forward. So Appendix V, I don't have an answer. Another one that we need to fix. Is that correct, Ray?
Yep.
Todd?
I kind of just see notes from chapter 29 because it seems like they're all going to kind of tie together.
Okay. And Ray or Stoyan, who's going to do that work? Is that going to come from SBCC staff and get approval by the council, or how's that going to work?
We're hoping it comes in on a code change proposal.
To change the appendices and drop one of them at least?
I just clean everything up.
Okay, and that's something Todd indicated, I believe he was working on.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can figure out who's going to make that code proposal, but it'd be really nice if we had a small group of folks working on it, inclusive of SBCC staff.
Okay. Todd, I'd be happy to help with that if you need some additional help.
Okay, thank you.
Just email me, let me know.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so that's pretty easy. I don't think we need to vote on that since that's something we voted on before. And we all know that there's issues and we're going to have this addressed in some type of code change proposal. So it sounds like we don't even need to look at maintaining the current amendment at this time. So, all right, I believe that wraps up the chapters aside from ones. I think there were a few we did not vote on, Ray, and maybe I saw you going through that during the break.
Yeah, I just kind of going through and hitting all the highlighted ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I put that. We were pretty busy last week getting ready for our hearing, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. Let's see here. So we're going to check with Energy Code Tag. I've still got to do that. I'm pretty sure that they took care of this, the balance, whole house stuff. So that still needs to be done. Check with Energy Code. Common walls. I don't remember what we said needs code change proposal, but we highlighted it. Was that one? I'm trying to think back here.
I got to go back to it.
I know that there is it the common walls that there's an opinion, and we thought that we needed to match the opinion to a code change proposal. Thought there was something along those lines.
No, that was, I think that might have been something I needed to do. And that was just to verify that all of our state amendment was actually captured. But it had been reorganized, the current or the new 302.2.2 in the IRC.
Micah, can I say something?
Sure.
I missed the first couple of minutes, but the sections, the townhomes, what happened was the council approved something and didn't adopt a section. I can't tell you the section number. And when staff was implementing the changes, we kind of missed that. It was amended at the last council meeting for the 2018 adoption. So the opinion Ray was talking about clarifies what was adopted. So we need to put it back in the language. So I don't know if we will need a proposal for that, or we can just add it as a TAC recommendation, because it's really an oversight. It's an error. It was adopted by the council, but we missed that when we were adding the language to WAC.
I think we can do that in our OTS document, Stoyan, since it's already been approved by council.
We can do that, yes.
Staff will match opinion, will match code to opinion. How's that?
Okay. And that opinion was on this section? 302.2?
It'll only take a second to look.
I remember it was for the common wall, but I can't remember the section number.
302.2.6 townhouses.
Oh,
I'm talking out loud. I'm sorry.
I think it was the section, yes.
Here is the opinion.
I guess you're ready for promotion.
The only downfall, that's a different section than what we're talking about currently.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that the intent is there, but the numbers aren't lining up. So it probably would need a code change proposal.
No.
Somebody say no.
Yeah, that was Micah.
Oh,
We're not talking about that section. That's a
Huh.
different section than what we're discussing right now.
okay.
So if you go down to your spreadsheet on 302.2.6, I believe,
We don't have it, do we? 302.2.
keep going.
2.2. Oh, no, I'm at, it's not on here.
well, you don't have it because this is one of those Micah was talking about. We decided not to adopt that section, but
Oh, okay.
the language doesn't say that. So it's
Right.
a little bit more, staff needs to invest a little bit more time in that.
Right.
Okay.
This one of those where the WAC's not showing anything, Ray.
Yeah, okay.
That's
I got
something we deleted. We deleted the structural independence section for the state.
Okay. I remember that. Yeah, was this section not adopted? Thing, yeah.
Yeah. So what we're talking about here currently is the
Search.
302.2 common wall language.
So I suppose you want me to pull that up. What is wrong?
There's nothing wrong, Ray.
There's something wrong. There's always something wrong.
I'm trying to get to the WAC and I apologize.
I got it pulled up now. I just like it comes into that love-hate relationship with Excel. Okay, 302.22, 302.22 common walls. All right. There we go. Oh, this is where we reference 29 again. So this is,
And that's okay. That's not the issue. The issue comes in the charging language. And pretty much, I'm going to throw this out there. Pretty much we can eliminate the state amendment aside from the electrical installations pointing to the WAC language.
okay, let me. Electrical stations correct.
So if you have the 20, would you like me to share the 2021 language?
Do you have it pulled up? It takes me a while to scroll to it. If you have it
I've got
pulled up. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay.
Stopped.
All right, let me make it bigger. Ignore the Seattle language over here.
I guess what I could do, Mike, if I could copy over model code language and make sure we add in the electrical part, that WAC.
Yeah, so if you see what's on the screen, the common wall language, you can see the bar that ICC changed. Pretty much it captures all of our amendment. It reorganized their language into what is similar to ours.
Okay.
Except, like I said, under electrical installations, ours points to the WAC effect. And then, sorry, I go back and look at the other part of it. Yep, that's correct. And then we did have under the exception here on the second part of it, which is unfortunately split by their table. We actually got rid of this filled with minimum info language, and we would just said fire blocking. It should be fire blocked. So this is what it should look like if you see the exception here on the left-hand side. Make that a little bigger. That was the other portion of the Washington Amendment that should be maintained.
Okay, so we'll match the model code language and add the electrical WAC and exception number 2, or just the exception, the amendment stated. Which
You're going to
amendment?
modify the amendment.
Yeah, modify the.
You're going to, sorry, you're going to modify the exception.
Okay. And then modify, okay, and then modify exception
Yes.
to match, or what to which code? The 20. Oops.
It should just maintain the current exception amendment for the state.
Okay, there's 2 of them. Are we keeping them both?
What is the current, what am I missing?
Oh, no, you're right. I'm looking at 1 and 2 above it. You're right, right.
Yeah,
right.
no, the exception. Yeah.
And wasn't permitted. And what am I modifying in the exception?
Nothing.
Okay.
You're keeping the state language in the exception.
And keep.
Okay.
All right, I got it. I told you I was going to be slow today.
No, that's okay.
Just want to make sure we get it right. All right.
All right, so I'm gonna let you go right sharing your screen.
Okay. Oh, forgot I wasn't.
Did we vote on the entire chapter 3?
Yes, we did.
Okay, perfect.
Had to come back. We're going to come back and vote on the yellow or whatever color.
Okay. Do
We
we
need to
have
make
other?
another modification to it because I need to look at R327 again now, considering all of the Appendix Q changes in the base code.
Okay.
So I'm going to need to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ray, what other sections do we have in yellow? We
Let's-
do need to modify the 327 to be yellow from approved. Thank you, Jen, for that reminder.
Second, I just messed something up. I have to fix it. I don't know what I did here. I don't know how I added something over here, but I did.
What happens?
There we go. There. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this yellow for now then.
Okay.
Then we have, you had a note, you errata sent to Stoyan on this one? This is
I can't see the section number, sorry.
302.3.
302.3.
I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see it. I just try to keep the whack up too. All right, there it is. It needed a code change proposal. There was an errata sent. We had a note, errata sent to Stoyan.
Okay.
I can't remember if I have any.
Well, that's not helpful.
Can you remember what it was about? 302.3.
Separation required. Oh, this is where we talked about a real lot line or a fake lot line. Remember, or if a building crosses a lot line, I think it was. Did we have a lot of discussion on that?
For a 2-unit townhouse.
It was related to the ADUs, I think. And Micah, you were talking about clarifying ADU language. I can't remember if it was in chapter 1, something.
Yeah, it came from chapter 1, and I'm sorry, I'm comparing what it should be to the WAC at the moment to see why I said there was an errata. I always have to go back and look at things 2 or 3 times. Oh, that was the where it says or in the first sentence.
Oh,
And it should say through. I think Jennifer sent that, not the Jennifer on here, but my Jennifer Stoyan, I think we sent that to you or Krista. If you look at the WAC language under the first sentence of 3023.
Yeah. So, okay, well, that's an easy fix.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. I'm pretty sure we sent that over. I'm almost, and I can verify with my Jennifer if she said that. But yeah, that should say through instead of or. That was the errata.
Okay.
2018.
What we'll do then is we will take Stoyan off the hook.
Well, but then the base code also changed to talk about a real lot line. So I think that was why we didn't just note, oh, fix or to be through, because there was also the base code that changed. And it needs to be considered whether or not we want to include that, I think.
Right. You're correct.
So you want me to put Stoyan back on the line?
No, I think you were supposed to be on the hook for identifying that code change proposal.
Did I?
Actually, Ken sent that code change proposal over in the chat last week, but
oh, great.
So the recommendation here would be to keep the existing amendment and evaluate the new language in 2021. Is that close to what we're talking about here?
yes.
Okay, well,
Sounds
if this is the case, then we don't need to make the decision right now. I mean, this is good for recommendation and we'll follow up.
Okay.
If we have a proposal, then, we will keep the language as is, and then we will have the proposal as new amendment. We don't need to make any editorial corrections here. If we don't have the proposal, then we can have the editorial corrections, and we will evaluate the 2021 language anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Stoyan.
Okay, next one. This would be photovoltaic systems.
324, that was one we were just talking about.
Says base code had added requirements for the electrical portion of the system, so we will need to modify our amendment, likely adding some new language. So that would be keep amendment needed.
I'm sorry, I'm a
So-
little lost. Why are we going back through this and did we lose our notes? Is that what happened?
No, these are, we got to these points and we said we highlighted them to come back to them at a different date.
Yes. So we're trying to wrap this up so we can actually send this report. So in this instance, kind of like the one we just did a minute ago, the question is, do we need to keep the amendment and then we'll have a different evaluation for the new language and we may need a code change proposal at that time. So we need to kind of try to get rid of most of these yellow items to get this report over to the council. So we're trying to fill up the rest of our meeting going through some of these items again in yellow to make some additional determinations. Does that answer the question?
Sort of. It seems like we did lose our notes though, because we we're having to we're starting from scratch again. Like, what are we even like, what did we need to do? And then it seemed like whatever we highlighted in yellow needed research outside of the meeting.
Right.
So it just seems like we're sort of doing it over again and then still putting a pin in it. So I'm confused.
So I think is what we need to really answer today. I think what Stoyan pointed out is we have to say yes or no, we're keeping the current amendment, regardless of what changes were made by ICC. Then we're going to come back in the next meeting for a different report and evaluate the ICC changes. Is that correct, Stoyan?
Ray and I discussed this section a few weeks ago, and I have a bunch of notes here that I don't know if I want to share with you right now. I don't want to confuse you further.
Okay.
But there were some correlation issues with the existing amendment in the fire code 1204. And there was something missing in the residential code, and also there is language that is really unnecessary. So if you can direct staff to research further this, that will be okay for the report.
Okay.
And I will spend more time and I'll work with Ray on this one. He is the fire code professional, so we'll figure that out.
Okay.
There are a few items that we need to take into consideration. I'm just not sure yet if it will require a new proposal or we can work it out as editorial. So I need more time on that.
Okay. Excellent.
So I will just put, since staff will research this chapter, these three highlighted.
Okay.
Sorry, Ray, for the job security, but
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of time.
Okay.
Let's see here. Get in. I think we believe that this all needed a code change proposal. I thought we were going to keep the amendment. We were going to keep the amendments and and then a code change proposal. So I remember.
The code change proposal needed to include the 326.4
Yeah.
instead of just the 326.3.
Oh, that's one piece, but then the whole thing though changed, like the whole thing needs to be considered and thought through again.
Right, we'll evaluate the ICC language under the next report.
They're in the code change proposal portion, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oops.
right.
Foundations, minimum size, no change in model code, up for discussion, delete amendment.
Why do we make things hard?
Ray, did you go back to our 327 and change that?
Thank you, Jen.
Sorry,
R
before we move on to
3.
4.
Which did you need me to change? 327?
It's not finished, right? Because just pretend nothing has happened in 327. We need to go through all of the Appendix Q changes and consider them. So I said, keep everything exactly as is because it's not in the base code. Turns out that's not really true. The base code is just lives in a different place. So I haven't reviewed any of this, considering what they've changed.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically not done at all.
Okay. I need to unhighlight these, or else I'm going to really mess ourselves up. So what I'll do, since we're getting close to time, Micah, what I will do is I will file out an email with a report on the sections that need to be reviewed and
Okay.
finalized at the next meeting.
Okay.
And obviously the significant change report needs to be done too.
Okay.
Can we talk a little bit more about that? Because I'm not really 100% on the task there. So is this once again just looking at our existing amendments, but considering the, because Kevin, we already done that because we've already looked at everything that's changed. So I'm confused
No,
about.
this is all the significant changes in the model code. Doesn't matter if it's an amendment or not.
And what about it though? What do we do with that? Okay, so there's
If it-
significant changes. What do we do with that now?
You put the 21 here. My screen change. It'll be the section number, the title, your comments of what the significant change is. Is it going to be a major cost? Do we need to make an amendment? And then we'll discuss it as a tag over here. So from the amendment back would be the tag member assigned work. And then we will fill out this at the tag level over here on the right.
Okay, and then how would I know if an amendment is needed or not? I guess.
We can talk about that at the tag level. And that it's just it's your opinion at the time.
Like, oh, they're doing this thing, but it really doesn't affect our climate zone. So maybe we want to just strike it out or something like that.
Yeah,
Like is there any, maybe an example of one would be helpful? Just to kind of know, like.
Let's see here. Well, yeah, I'm trying to put it back. I'll put an email together and I'll detail it really well. How's that?
Thanks.
That
Or maybe
way-
there's one from last.
Yeah, I'll find.
That would be
I'll give a
awesome.
good example. I'll give a
Just so
good
I know.
example.
Cool. Just so I know, kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is at the end of our meeting today, I will put an email together of sections that we need to review that are still highlighted, and I'll put a description of the significant change, what we're looking for in the significant change, and an example together, and send it out to everybody.
Okay.
Because I think, let me see, I think these ones in 4 are the only ones left as far as highlighted. And 327.
All right, so let's go to the one in 4. Why was the first one highlighted? am I missing there?
No change in model code up for discussion. I think, let's see,
And we recommended deleting the amendment.
yeah. Let's see if there's something in the language. Man, 3 is a big chapter.
I think I know this is.
Once I pull it up, I'll probably know. Minimum size. Oh, the tables. All the tables, were they relevant? I think that's what it was.
So the ICC did there's no graphs in the ICC that we're seeing in our change. There's just a large updated table. We need to keep that. Ray, I think this was, I was gonna say, I think this was one of those we needed to see the code change. And we were gonna have staff provide that to us. Why it's in this graph form and does it correlate with the current tables in the 2021?
So this was my take on it when we spoke about it last week, or last time. Our amendment shows beyond 32 foot of tributary. ICC model is based on 32 foot wide. And so I think this would help some, to be a prescriptive for larger homes. I know there's a footnote that says if you're beyond 32 feet, then, you do X, Y, Z, but having a chart, I think would help a lot of people. But I think that's mainly, at least from what I see, the difference.
Okay. Okay. So, Quinn, your recommendation is to keep the amendments based on that information.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean,
Okay.
It's quite confusing to a lot of people when they first look at it because it's not as easy as reading a table, but yeah, it works.
Okay. And so another question is, are we striking information in 403 to create these type of tables? That's what I'm going to have for staff.
So say that one more time, I'm sorry.
So right now there's tables 403.11. And we have an alternative graph in here. So the question is, I'm verifying that we're not striking the tables. We're just adding graphs for alternatives.
Okay. Keeping.
Mike, I just wanted you to be aware that Annie's mic's not working and she's in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we clarify the task for staff? Is it?
Sure. We'll do that just a second. Let me make sure we get Annie's comment in, Stoyan. And she indicates the discussion centered around the new tables and whether the new graphs were needed. And how much does it get used? And then you indicated an exception to use them. I'm not sure your last part of that chat, Annie, I apologize. I think part of that discussion that, or that whether or not the new graphs were needed was kind of covered by Quinn. These are in addition to graphs, and that's what we're verifying, Stoyan, now. Well, I need staff to verify that these graphs are in addition to the tables that are part of the base code.
Our graphs, existing amendment, are in addition to the model code, is it?
Okay,
Did I get it right?
that would be my question to staff, yes. So we want to make sure whether that's a yes or no answer. Sounds like that's a yes answer, but can you?
Well,
guys-
no, I don't know what the answer is. If it's something editorial, then we can check, but if it's something structurally related, I don't know if we have this type of specialists and stuff that can do that.
No, we need to know whether or not the previous amendment
Oh, okay, we
is
can.
striking the
it.
tables in the base code and going with these graphs, or if the current amendment are graphs that would be adopted in addition to the tables. So that's what we need for staff. And we're over time at this point. Stoyan, what else on this report would you need from the tag that we make sure we cover next week? If you could, let me just restate that. Could you provide me the information in Ray's email on what you need from the tag to wrap this report up during the next meeting for SBCC?
What we need from you folks is tag recommendation, any tag recommendation.
Okay.
Keep it, delete it, modify it, stuff to research, tag to research, everything is part of the report, and we will post the report on the website, and this is the way we will open for the 2-month period for accepting new amendments.
Okay.
During that time, TAC members and staff will continue working on that. So,
Okay.
if, for example, the building code for Group 1, we modified the report 3 times because
Okay.
we were finding new issues and we were fixing existing issues. So, modifications to the report after it's approved by the council, it's all right. It's an option.
Okay, excellent. Then that's the item we'll work on in the next meeting next week, as well as the changes from ICC. And we will try to get that all wrapped up for the meeting because we still have a handful of items on this report to get done. So we're over time, folks, and I've got other meetings scheduled. I'm sure everybody else does. And so this is where we'll leave off for the report today, and then back to the agenda. I think the only other item, if there's any other business that needs to be discussed, Stoyan, is there anything you need to add today before we adjourn?
Just to finish with the TAC recommendations, we really will appreciate your professional expertise. So if it's something for stuff that we can do, researching and something that we feel comfortable doing, we will do it. But if it's something that we don't have the expertise, we really will appreciate the TAC members' expertise in that.
Okay.
For example, structural provisions or something that need a different knowledge that the staff can provide. So it's just don't refer everything to staff. Of course, we want to help, but if it exceeds our expertise, then it defeats the purpose of involving staff here.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. And Annie added in the chat this section 408.1 and 408.2 need a rewrite, and that she provided language last week for consideration. And Andy, did you provide that? I can't remember. Did you provide that to the tag, or did you provide that to Ray? And
I think she sent me an email.
okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I apologize, folks, for running so late. I appreciate everybody sticking on with us. At this point, I am going to look to adjourn the meeting if there's no objections. All right, thank you for your time. We will see you next week, or talk to you next week, if not before. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.